Hello. Today I'm pleased to welcome back to campus Ed Vanderbeck, a 1996 William Patterson graduate. Ed is a founding member of the College of Science and Health's Dean's Advisory and Advancement Council, where he shares his decades of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. Currently, he serves as president of Eds Journey Pharmaceuticals. A non-traditional student, Ed grew up in Ringwood, New Jersey, and spent time after high school pursuing other interests, including a stint in Colorado as a self-described ski bum, before eventually enrolling at William Patterson as an adult student. If his work ethic during his WP career is any indication, he must have been the hardest working ski bum ever, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in a moment. After graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Technology, Ed launched his professional career in pharmaceutical sales and soon gained experience across many different aspects of the industry, including working on the Human Genome Project. Outside of his day job, Ed owns a small organic farm in Connecticut where he lives with his family, wife Lauren, and children Helena and Henry. Produce from the volunteer-run farm is donated to a community group that provides healthy meals to people and family coping with health crises so that they can focus more on getting better. In addition to his advisory council service, Ed supports WP students through the recently established Colby Vanderbeck Memorial Annual Scholarship. I'm so grateful for Ed's continued involvement in his alma mater, and I am pleased that he could be here with me today. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you, Rich. I'm excited to be here.
So, like many William Patterson students, you didn't take a traditional route straight from high school to college. What were your goals when you graduated high school, and how did you end up here at William Patterson?
So funny question. My goal was to graduate high school. I think it was my primary goal, right? It was, school wasn't really that important as kids, believe it or not, when we were growing up. So it was a little different. So my thought was, hey, I can go out skiing, have a good time out west, and enjoy my life. And I did that for a number of years. Came back to New Jersey, ended up working construction, getting married, having a child, and things were going great. At 24, 25, I was able to buy my first house. So I was like, this is fantastic. And then the construction industry dried up. And my wife said, well, maybe you should try going to school. And that's what the impetus was for me going back to school. Yeah.
So it was your wife, Lauren, that prodded you along this path, right?
Yes.
Good for her.
Absolutely. I thank her every day.
So I alluded in my introduction to your work ethic as a college student. I understand that your day started at 3 a.m. with work in New York City before ending on campus with classes and studying. So that is what we call some serious willpower. Tell me more about that grueling schedule.
Yeah, so actually it was, I had to be there by 3 a.m.
Oh, you had to
so I had to get up at 2, or no, I had to leave my house by 2 a.m. So I had to wake up, I figured it out, I can get up at 1:45 and get out the door by 2 a.m. in order to get there in time. So I would do that. I would go into Queens, Corona section of Queens from Ringwood, and load bread, these big, it was called Silver Bell Bakery. It's a Lithuanian bread, and they're 12-pound loaves, right? So yeah, really big, really heavy bread, both heavy in your stomach and heavy to carry. And I would deliver them through Queens and Manhattan, and I would finish up the day around 8 or 9 o'clock, and I'd come straight here. So usually my first class in the morning, I was able to get 9 a.m. classes, no earlier. I think there were some 8 a.m.s, but I never had to take those. I was able to work my schedule. And I would go to the science library, which was on the first floor of the science building at the time, and in between classes or whatever, I would nap. And then I would go to school, because my goal was to graduate in 3 years. I would go to school until about 9 o'clock at night on, I think it was Tuesdays and Thursdays. The other days I was a little bit earlier. Race home, go to sleep, and then that alarm would go off again.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a bit of,
wow.
I started counting down the weeks at 125 weeks to go. So, but you have a goal, right?
Right.
And I knew I could get to the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If you had to do it again today, could you do it?
That's a tough question. It's funny because life always throws you curveballs, and you never think you can until it comes in front of you, and then you figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably yes.
Well, it has certainly paid off.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell me about your most enduring William Patterson memory.
So as a student with a wife and a child, it was obviously not too traditional, right? It was the social aspect. I got my social aspect when I lived in Colorado, I guess I should say, and so I was here for an education. I had a lot of people that were dependent upon me, so I guess the one thing I was thinking of on that is I would go, if I wasn't sleeping or studying at the science library, I would go for a swim at the pool, right? And just to exercise, get my mind clear. But I opened the locker the first time I went there, and in there was a quote that said, "To move is to risk death. Not to move is to be dead already." Wow. And I've always taken that to heart, right? What can I do? What can we do in order to continue to improve things? Because you stay stationary, it's not going to help you. And the quote's by anonymous because I looked it up. I have no idea who said it, but that's the quote. So that's my most enduring memory.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
So how does one go from being a ski bum to construction to biotechnology? I mean, how did you land on that major?
So it was kind of a funny story too, because when I started in William Patterson College, I was concerned, right, because I wasn't ever good at school, that I would take the test in order to get into school, and they would put me in the beginner courses, and I would have to work my way through. And I'm thinking, I'm married, this is never going to work for me. So I kind of worked the system, and I went non-matriculating, and I took trigonometry in an English class that I thought would be too tough for me, but I'm going to take it anyway because I want to make sure I could do it. And I was able to get a good grade. I think I got B's, maybe A's in the class. So I just had to work hard in order to get there. And I don't know if I should have said I kind of worked the system, but that's what I did. So when I applied full time, I didn't have to take those tests because I already passed those classes with good grades. So I always had an interest in science as well. Being a kid, growing up in Ringwood, there's, you're fishing, you're outside all the time. And I said, well, let me take some science courses to fill that as well. And I ended up, I guess the college chemistry and college biology were full. So I had to take the general chem and general bio, which is more for the science majors. And I took those classes, and the first test that came back for both chemistry and biology, I had the highest grade. I'm like, well, I may have a knack for this. So that's what took me down the road of biotechnology, is truly that. And I enjoyed it, right? It was something that I had fun with, and I said, I think I could do something with this. So, yeah.
There you go. Well, I think working the system is fine as long as it doesn't involve jail. So there you go.
It was all legal.
There you go.
Everything was legal.
There you go. So is there someone in particular on campus, whether it's a fellow student, faculty, or staff member, who strongly impacted your time here at William Patterson?
I would say the faculty in general on the science side, right? Dr. Warman, she was the chair of the biology department, and I had a lot of classes with her. Dr. Grant, Dr. Risley, Dr. Levine, Dr. Worth. They had passion for what they were doing, right? I still remember Dr. Risley with the ticks and stuff. I'll say this: I ended up I found on campus, not to bore people, but I found a Lone Star tick, right, which is very rare for here, and I ended up putting it in an envelope and taping it to his door, just to let him know. It's like, Ed, don't drop me off any more ticks, please. Wow. Okay.
Well, Dr. Warman was just recognized with the Faculty Excellence Award at commencement. I believe it was for teaching. But
right.
As you know, her area of research is in viruses.
Yes.
And so she was very popular and one of our most quoted faculty members during the pandemic. So she's still out there really doing great work.
That's great.
So as I mentioned in the intro, you are a founding member of the College of Science and Health Advisory Council. As a leader in the pharmaceutical industry, What is one thing that today's students should know in order to succeed in your field?
So I think the key thing is, and I tell this to a lot of folks that are just out of college that are looking to go into a field, that the pharmaceutical industry is a career. It's not a job, right? It's something that you can raise a family, you get a good salary, and you can live comfortably. It doesn't necessarily have to be a science major. There's regulatory. So if you're a creative writer, you can go into the regulatory department. If you're military or looking justice, the FDA is a controlling regulatory body. They actually, I don't know if you realize this, but the FDA, when they go on inspections, they carry sidearms. Right? They are licensed to carry weapons.
Wow.
You almost look at any single major that you have in the university, it is helpful for the pharmaceutical market. It does help to have a little bit of science background, but it's not necessary truly to be successful there. So I'd say, if you do well and you want a career rather than a job, the pharmaceutical sector is really good. In New Jersey, you can't get any better. New Jersey is considered the pharmaceutical capital of the world.
Interesting. It's so funny that you say that, because a couple years ago, group presidents were with the CEO of LinkedIn, and he talked about IT startups. And he said that it's surprising that only 30% of the workforce comes out of IT. The other 70% comes from other disciplines, art history, creative writing, the humanities, the social sciences. So it's interesting for you to hear that same thing coming from the pharmaceutical.
Finance, accounting, it's really incredible.
Yeah.
It covers everything. Lawyers, plenty of lawyers.
Wow. So you generously support William Patterson students through your time, your expertise, but also your annual scholarship. So why do you choose to give back to William Patterson with both your time, expertise, and philanthropy?
Well, I think it goes kind of back to my story, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, right, to do it when I did it, right, when I already have a wife and a child. It's not easy if you're the first of your family that's going through school. It's not easy if you got knocked down once or twice, and how do I get started again? Right. And so that was my thought with regards to the scholarship. It's in memory of my son, but it's we all get knocked down, right? I'm not looking for the person that has the straight A's. I'm hoping to help somebody that has been knocked down, but wants to try to get back up. And if I can help somebody get back up, I'd love to do it. So that's what my driving force is behind it, is to help.
That's great. So now we always close these with the lightning round. And I'm the 8th president, so we're going to stick to 8 questions. And some are about your time at William Patterson, but some are about your life right now. So ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Wait, do the answers have to be short?
They do.
Okay.
It's called the lightning round.
All
right? So what would the title of your autobiography be?
From the Heart.
From the Heart. What was your go-to meal?
Leading from the Heart. Sorry. Leading from the Heart.
Leading from the Heart.
Yes.
That's a better title.
Yes.
What was your go-to meal as a student?
It's embarrassing. Oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Healthy.
Cheap.
Right. Favorite study spot? You might have already said this.
That's the library. Sleep and study spot are one and the same.
Okay. You're naming a new pet, William or Patterson?
Already took it. William Wallace is the name of my dog. We
Really?
call him Wally. Yes, yes. So Braveheart.
There you go.
Yeah,
there
he's
you
a
go.
coward, but the name is cool.
You're buying a new sweater, black or orange?
What's it saying? Orange is the new black, but I'm sticking with black.
All right. What was the toughest class at William Patterson?
That would be theater, because I have absolutely no skill in music or poetry or anything like that. I loved the class, but it was theater introductory that I had to take, and Dr. Grant was the professor. He was extremely tough, but I enjoyed it.
There you go. My PhD's in theater. I don't know whether you knew that. What is your favorite piece of WP branded gear?
The sticker in the back of my car.
We love those too. What's the single best piece of advice you could give to today's students, no matter their major?
Best piece of advice, I'd say, again, for you, lead from the heart, right? A lot of people are supporting you to get to where you are, right? Sacrificing for you. So do everything you can from the heart and do what you think is right.
Great. Well, thanks for playing. We learned a lot about you, and we learned that there's such a thing as a 12-pound loaf of Lithuanian bread. But we want to just certainly thank you for taking time to speak with us today. And of course, thank you for supporting and staying involved with William Patterson University. Ed, it was great chatting with you today.
Rich, it's my pleasure.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you.